Hello, thank you all for joining us, especially those of you who are joining via Zoom. I see a phone number ending in 695. If that is you, can you *6 to unmute and announce yourself? Phone number ending in 695.
It's Debbie Smith.
Hi, Debbie. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, we got about 1 minute till. I'll just do a couple quick housekeeping things while we wait on hopefully at least one more CEO to join us, but welcome. This meeting is a special meeting and we do have attendees here in person at the Workforce Development Center at Lakeland College, and we have attendees joining us online as well. It is being recorded, so please keep that in mind. Anything that comes across your microphone or your video camera is being recorded in a matter of public record. The meeting will be posted to our YouTube channel. If you are participating, please feel free to unmute yourself and contribute to the discussion. If you are not actively contributing to discussion, please keep yourself muted to cut down on some of the background noise and interference. We're still letting in some CEOs. We have an additional CEO. I think that puts us right at 7, if I'm not mistaken. So it is Monday, July 15th, 2024. It is right at 6:00 p.m. So with that, Chair Purdy, whenever you are ready, we can call the meeting to order.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to this special meeting. Roll call.
Okay, Todd Beer.
Here.
Jim Boland.
Here.
Jim Brewer.
Here.
Bill Burke. Josh Talbot.
Here.
Dennis Graves. Jacob Harris. Nancy Purdy.
Here.
Josh Rowe. Debbie Smith.
Here.
Jeff Boyd. Jason Warfel.
Here.
Terry Woodrow. We have just enough for a quorum.
Thank you. On behalf of the CEOs, I want to express appreciation to Lakeland College for their service which they provided to LWIA 23 for the past 10 years. We wish them well with their new projects. On the agenda then, starting with number 2, conflict of interest disclosure. Hearing none, we'll move to number 3, selection of fiscal.
Nancy?
Yes.
Nancy, I'm not sure if it'd be a conflict of interest, but Effingham County does use CFS as its transportation provider. I'm not sure if that would be a direct conflict of interest.
Thank you. I'm not sure either.
I think about every county uses CEFs in some way.
I think so too.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Thank you.
So the main reason we are here is to discuss the need for a fiscal agent. Well, we have a need for a fiscal agent. Coles County Department of Regional Planning and Development was interested in being the grant recipient. They did go talk to their organization about the fiscal agent part as well, but due to the tight timeline that we are under, they decided not to pursue that interest at this time. I also spoke with the CEO, president of Southwest Illinois Community Foundation, And the same kind of was their situation as well. They were interested in the grant recipient part, but they do not want to hire or have additional employees. They do not want to, they choose not to be set up to, even though I guess they really could, they do not want the fiscal part where they have employees, that they are responsible for the writing checks to employees, W-2s and that sort of thing. So that kind of lets them out as well. Is there anyone else who has thought of another or spoken with anyone who might be interested in being fiscal agent? We know we have one, and that is SEPS, who is our service provider, who has also expressed interest in being our grant recipient fiscal agent. Do we have anyone else then from the CEOs that you are aware of that we need to bring up and discuss at this time?
Cumberland County would like to take it over. No, I'm joking. Since I'm getting off there.
Yeah, that's what you're leaving. No one? All right, then, at this time, we have one organization that is interested in being the fiscal grant recipient fiscal agent. And there are members of that organization here tonight, who we all know since they're part of our service provider. And I believe that they would like to speak at this time on their behalf.
Well, I guess I would just like to say that yes, the EFS would be very interested in taking over the role as the fiscal agent. We administer a large number of federal and state grants. We have experience in that. We also, having been the service provider on the workforce program for so many years, have extensive experience in that also. We feel like we can add the additional staffing that we need to manage the tasks that the board would like us to manage, and we're more than willing to do so and work with the board in whatever way they would like us to. Connie, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Must be removed.
Yeah, she must be muted. If anyone has any questions, I mean, we'd be happy to answer those.
Would we be putting a timeline on the contract, let's say like a 3 or 5 year with SEPS?
For the fiscal agent?
Yes.
That would be up to the committee, which will be the next item. I'm going to be looking for a committee to be working on the CEO fiscal agent agreement, and that would be in the agreement.
As SEFs, they've done this for us before, haven't they, years ago?
As fiscal agent?
No, not as fiscal agent. We've just always been the service provider. The fiscal agent years ago used to be IECC, and before that, I think there was a job, Crossroads job.
Nancy, did they get a copy of the stuff that Kevin sent out?
Yeah,
I don't think anyone did. I just gave it to Todd. There is a letter of recommendation for SEPS. This is
that would be the cover page is the letter of interest from Kevin, and then there should be 2 letters of recommendation, one from the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and one from the Illinois Association of Community Action Agencies.
along with the budget.
And along with a budget for the fiscal agent portion.
that Kevin Busher did send out.
Yeah, and then I believe he also had sent out, but it's numerous pages, a copy of our most recent fiscal audit, so you guys can see the breadth of different grants that we administer throughout our agency.
Would there be some grants that we might be aware of or know?
I mean, well, Head Start is a big one that we operate. We operate the low income home energy assistance program and weatherization and community services block grant. All of those funnel through different divisions within DECIO, who is the division of the state that WIA funnels through. We do a lot with the Illinois Department of Human Services. We have the transportation grants that go through IDOT and FTA and through Effingham and Shelby counties. We have Meals on Wheels programs and senior congregate meals that go with that run through the area agencies on aging and through the Illinois Department of Aging, and also through the federal government, through HHS as well. On that, we operate a retired senior volunteer program. So we have a lot of different variety of programs and with a lot of different funding sources. So we're familiar with, every funding source has their own set of unique rules and reporting requirements, and we have the expertise to be able to accommodate and do what we need to do to get reporting done on time and accurate to them, so that there aren't any issues there.
So am I hearing that in addition to handling numerous actually grants, that you are also fiscal agent for any of them?
None of them have a fiscal agent component quite the same way Workforce does. Head Start does have a component that would be very similar to the Workforce program in that we have a policy council. And so that policy council provides guidance for the direction of the program, kind of in the same way that the Workforce Board would provides guidance for the Workforce program. The rest of them, in some cases, we are the direct grant recipient directly from the federal government. In some cases, we're the grant recipient directly from the state government. In some cases, they flow through another intermediate area, be like an area agency on aging or Effingham or Shelby County in the case of our transportation grants. So we've kind of got a variety of different situations and scenarios. In all of those, we handle the billing and the reporting and all of those compliance aspects. We usually have a revolving door of federal and state grant monitors coming in and out, monitoring something at any given point in time, in addition to our standard annual audit.
Thank you.
Mhm.
The letter from the Illinois Department of Commerce to us, the LWIA 23 staff. The Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Office of Community Assistance is pleased to offer this letter of support and to serve as a reference contact for CEFS, Economic Opportunity Corporation, in their pursuit to become the fiscal agent, grant recipient, and service provider for LWIA 23 under the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act program. CEFS Economic Opportunity Corporation has secured over $25 million in federal and state grants this past year, creating economic opportunity and security for families. As a community action agency, CEFS has been actively involved in the delivery of employment and training services for over 50 years, from the middle 60s with the delivery of neighborhood youth corps services through the Comprehensive Employment and Training Program, the Job Training Partnership Act, it's the one I remember, JTPA, and the Workforce Investment Act program, and to Workforce Innovative and Opportunity Act program. CEFS has had successful employment and education programming and services as a cornerstone of their agency mission in providing opportunities for people in our communities through education and support to achieve and maintain stability. As the LWIA 23 chief elected officials consider selecting a fiscal agent grant recipient for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act program funding, please strongly consider CEFS Economic Opportunity Corporation, who has a proven track record in administering federal and state grants, is accountable, transparent, has proven success in achieving program outcomes and performance measures. Please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any further questions. And he gives a phone number signed by David Wortman, Deputy Director of Commerce Assistance. And as I mentioned, Kevin Busher included a budget and a letter of application, well, more or less, interest, a letter of interest for us. Brian, the only thing I have is was my concern, was this a conflict of interest for DCEO to recommend a particular agency? Should we consider this or?
Hi, Nancy. I'm not sure. This comes as a bit of a surprise to me. I was not aware that another bureau within DCO had provided a letter to the CEO, so I would have to consult with our legal department on that.
Okay. Otherwise, it's very glowing. Whether we dismiss it or not, it's very glowing on behalf of SEPs, on their behalf. Do I have any other comments from CEO members?
Is the budget that was submitted the same as the last meeting we had, or has it been updated since that time?
No, it has not been updated. It's the same one that Kevin had presented previously when we were asked to provide one.
I checked that. It's the same.
Yeah, we don't anticipate, I mean, until we would happen to know what the staffing would look like, that would be the only reason to know if there would be a need to change that.
Well, I anticipate there will be a need for additional staffing if this was given to SEPs. And I mean, I think we're going to need an updated, before we do anything, an updated budget to see what we're looking at.
Well, that includes 3 additional staff over what we currently offer as the service provider. So that is for the additional staff that would be required to manage the fiscal agent side. Somebody to, as the director, to handle the board side of stuff, somebody as a fiscal in the fiscal, with a fiscal expertise, and then somebody with a compliance expertise.
And
so kind of the same way you guys have now.
Okay, refresh my memory. I believe, Kevin, the budget that was submitted at the last meeting was $26,000.
No, 320,000.
No. I'm talking. Okay, refresh my memory. Todd, whenever he presented that, Lakeland was doing it at a $44,000, I believe.
Indirect cost was 50,000 with Lakeland, and I believe indirect cost with SEFs would be 30,252 based on their budget.
Okay.
Is that the question you're asking?
Yes.
May I comment? It's a $50,000 cap on indirect cost, and as of this year, we were at just over 30,000 through the month of May.
Well,
Correct, Debbie?
no, it's a little bit higher.
36,000.
Right now, I think we're going to end right around 42,000, but it will not hit the 50,000.
So that is the indirect cost. It could go up to 50% with the contract that we currently have as Lakeland College, but we don't typically go up to that mark.
Based on the 2 budgets, and I'm not for sure about your last budget, because I think it was a little lower than the one we had received earlier. But there was roughly $60,000 to $70,000 savings. Mainly based off of benefits.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have quite the benefit package that the college.
There are many ways to approach this. We can table the decision for an additional meeting. If there are thoughts of trying to locate a different fiscal agent, we can go ahead and select SEPS tonight as our fiscal agent. We can select SEPS on a temporary basis. We can also select SEPS on a, what was the other one? Temporary or a trial basis. So there are, if we are ready to make any kind of a decision tonight, either table or select under one of those other caveats, do we have any discussion?
I will make a motion to select SEFs as the fiscal agent.
I'll second.
Who, and second was by,
Josh Stout at Effingham County.
thank you. Discussion?
I think we need to have a little more discussion on this and have, I mean, if we're gonna look at their contract, have someone to look at the contract that can give a legal opinion on the contract.
Isn't that what the committee is going to be set up to do?
Well,
Yes.
I think there's a motion and a second to accept them tonight. Is that
So
not
the
correct?
committee will set up language in the contract and set up terms of the contract. This motion is just selecting
Yeah.
SEFs as the provider or the certain fiscal agent.
Okay, I still have a problem with selecting someone and then that's kind of, you know, setting the rules after you select the contractor or the person.
Well,
What
I think we do that a
happens-
lot. I think we select a provider and then the legalese is taken care of, and then you would approve the contract with that provider.
I don't feel comfortable doing it this way. That's my opinion.
Yes.
This is Debbie Smith, and I'm in agreement because whenever we want to, and I'm sorry to throw this in there, but whenever the county wants to bring somebody in, we have the state's attorney review the contract and everything and then present it to the board. If it's approved, then it'll be the board at that time to make a yes or no on whether they want that particular provider. But that's my opinion as well.
Did you have a comment, Jamie?
There is a template version of the grant recipient CEO agreement that is put out by KED, the consulting agency with DCO. I think that's at least a start, and that's what the current grant recipient fiscal agent CEO agreement is based off of. So there's framework there that's available to start with, but it would need to be tailored because then you're looking at a fiscal agent that's also a service provider. So for that, I think more consulting and technical assistance would be required from DCO.
When we selected Lakeland, it was kind of the same process, wasn't it?
I really don't know how that, whether or not they worked out a contract first and then voted on Lakeland, or whether they voted on Lakeland first and then did a contract. I'm sorry, I don't know. Anybody know?
My understanding at the time was it was kind of done. The decision was made that IECC was giving it up to Lakeland, and it was just kind of
Mutual
a
agreement.
transition. Yeah, it was just a
I mean, are
handoff.
we gonna waste a lot of time on all the legalese if we're not even gonna ultimately pick them? I mean, I guess is my take on it. If we don't even want to select them, why are we waiting on why are we even gonna waste our time on specifics? I mean, maybe we need to word it differently. The motion needs to be worded, contingent on an approved contract or something like that. Maybe that makes sense, but I'm comfortable. Like I said, I've worked with CEFS on the transportation side. They're responsive, they're receptive to our needs. They do a good job. They come to the meetings when asked. They attend the committee meetings when asked. So I'm very, very comfortable with CEFS and how they run their, how they go about business. If that's the question, then maybe I missed that point, but
I did not say anything about not trusting SEPs on anything. I just don't want us to put the cart before the horse in the selection and getting it taken care of. I don't want there to be any problems down the road with this, because it has been contentious in the last few months with this, and I just want to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row. I think if I may, I'll agree with you. If the motion was amended to contingent upon the contract being approved, that they be selected, I have no problem with that. That makes it an entirely different story.
Well, I would change my motion to that.
Can I ask one additional question out of curiosity? Lakeland currently, we have the indirect cost from the LWIA formula grant, but then with like the supplemental grant and the apprenticeship grant, there's no additional indirect costs taken out of those grants. For CEFS, do you foresee taking additional indirect costs from those grants as well?
It's not allowed under the supplemental, so we wouldn't be able to, even if we otherwise, because they don't have the case management piece of it. Our indirect costs are based on a percentage of our salaries and wages. That's how it's calculated. So yeah, we would follow whatever the rules are for a grant agreement. That's the rules that we would follow.
Okay, so for like apprenticeship where it's allowed,
Yes.
Is it the 10% de minimis?
No, we we have a federally negotiated rate with our cognizant agency. Our cognizant agency being HA Health and Human Services, because that is who the majority of our dollars run through. So every year after the completion of our fiscal year closes August 31st. By February 28th, I have to submit a new agreement to HHS saying, here's what I propose our rate being. If they had any questions, they would then negotiate that with us. They typically don't. Right now, we're at 14.8% of direct salaries and wages, excluding friction.
That's decent, thank you.
So Todd, do you want to amend?
Yeah, I would amend my motion to add that.
All right, so the motion currently on the table is to select SEPs as the grant recipient service fiscal agent pending
Contingent.
acceptance of the CEO fiscal agent agreement.
I
I'll
have
second.
Bowen seconded. Okay. All those in favor?
Try to do roll call vote.
I'm sorry. Yes. Roll call, please.
Okay, Todd Beard,
Yes.
Jim Boland,
Yes.
Jim Brewer,
Yes.
Bill Burke, Josh Dalvin,
yes.
Dennis Graves, Jacob Harris, Nancy Purdy.
Yes.
We don't even approve the contract anyway. The LWIA or LWIA board of directors approves the contract. We select the fiscal agent. That's all we do. That's why I'm not understanding why he's doing it. If he wants to put contingent the contract being approved, everything we do is contingent of the board of directors approving it. We don't sit on the board of directors.
No, this is an agreement between the fiscal agent and the chief elected officials.
Just making sure. Thank you.
Josh Rowe, Debbie Smith,
Yes.
Jeff Boyd, Jason Warfel,
Yes.
Terry Woodrow.
Deborah, Lori Porman is here also. I wasn't called. I've been here since the beginning.
Lori, you're a board member, so you're more than welcome to, but the CEOs are the ones that are actually voting on this, so you're more than welcome to add any input, but you're not a voting member for this meeting at least, so. But we've got you down as being an attendee, so.
Okay. I was
All right.
invited to the meeting, so I did.
It appears that the motion carried with quorum, and therefore SEFs and the CEOs will be working together to get everything on board. Thank you very much. Public comment.
Do you want to have a discussion on the committee?
Oh, I completely. Time to go home. Sorry, number 4. Thank you for catching that. Yes, now the next step is to form a committee to review the CEO fiscal agent agreement. So that we can fully bring steps on board, because if this is not done, then our vote was kind of moot. So who among the CEOs would be willing to be on the committee to review the CEO fiscal agent agreement?
I will. Jim Brewer.
Thank you, Jim. You need more than just myself and Jim.
Josh Stout, that'll help.
Thank you.
How many do you have to have for the review?
Don't we have to have any particular number?
Just whoever's interested. I would
Whoever,
say.
yes, whoever's interested. There are some CEOs who are not on the meeting tonight. It's possible that 1 or 2 of them might be interested in helping out. At this time, we just have 3, myself and Jim Brewer and Josh. Anyone else interested from those who are on board with us right now?
Good job done.
No, I'm gonna be too busy. I'm gonna be out of the area for a couple months, and
I'm sure that
I'm off the board
can't
in
speak for him.
December, so.
Can't speak for him, but I think Jeff.
We can extend that invitation to him for sure.
I feel like he would be interested, but I can't speak for him. All right, then. Thank you very much. Now, public comment. Hearing none, then we need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I need a second to adjourn the meeting.
Brian Ellis had unmuted himself during the public comment. I didn't know if he did have something. I know you're just about to adjourn, but I seen he had unmuted himself.
Thanks, Courtney. I just wanted to make a brief comment and just congratulate this group on making a decision for a new fiscal agent. And I wanted everyone on the call and those that were not able to attend, to know that DCO stands ready to work with the new fiscal agent and with Lakeland College to make this transition as smooth as possible. So we will be providing extensive technical assistance to both groups to make this happen, hopefully before September the 30th, because that is a very short turnaround time. So we want to make sure we have everything, lined out correctly. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Yes, and with a decision, as we mentioned, with the decision made and with the agreement, looks like we need to work on that as quickly as possible. So that if SEFs is in agreement and the CEOs, with the CEO fiscal agent agreement, then DCEO will step in to help us through the transition. As Brian just mentioned. And we will look forward to their help. I still need a second to adjourn.
I'll make that second, Debbie Smith.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. We are ending the recording now.
I did